انت لو لاحظت حاجات ماشيه كل يوم ارتفاع في الاسعار، يعني وين معيشيه بجد، وين معيشه تعبان شديد. انت المسكين ما تقدر تبيه حاجه تاكل. مويه ساكنه، المويه بقى بكام؟ ب6 علي برميل هاتي في محلات تلقى ب8، ثاني محل تلقى ب9. يعني هيا بقى ماشي ساب تقول ده ما وقت قريب ذاته مويه ذاته مويه بقى رفع. انا ما اعرف الهيا بقى ماشي وين. يعني بيقول ذاته مش يعني احنا شغالين في السوالين تمشي السوق سبا تقعد يمكن من سبا يعني وين بقى سابع دي عشان تلقى لقمه هيا تجيب البيت بقى مشكله. يعني حاجات بجد ماشي عادي جدا، كل يوم ارتفاع في حاجات. انا بتمنى يعني كده حاجات دي يرجع لنا بزمان يعني وده يعيش يكون كويس.
Sounds of the Week on iRadio, your eye on South Sudan. Live from Juba, on air and online.
This is iRadio News.
Hello, good afternoon. This is iRadio News. First, here are the headlines. 2 South Sudanese chiefs in Shendi, Sudan have said that local authorities have issued a 3-day ultimatum for all South Sudanese residents to evacuate the town and return to South Sudan. A claimed Sudanese diplomat in Juba says he has yet to get a definite answer. A law firm has petitioned the Ministry of Justice over the poor maintenance of roads and drainage systems in Gudele, accusing the Ministry of Roads and Bridges, the Ministry of Environment and Forestry, and the Juba City Council of negligence. And the governor of Northern Bahr el Ghazal State has indefinitely suspended the State Minister of Roads and Bridges over allegations of corruption and gross indiscipline. These stories and more coming to you in this news bulletin with me, Baria Johnson, and now the news in detail. Two South Sudanese chiefs in Shendi, Sudan, have said that local authorities have issued a 3-day ultimatum for all South Sudanese residents to evacuate the town and return to South Sudan. A claim Sudanese diplomat in Juba says he is yet to get a definite answer. Chiefs John Okori and Federico Emilio spoke to iRadio in an exclusive interview from Shendi town in Sudan. John Okore disclosed that immigration authorities in Shendi have issued a 3-day ultimatum beginning this coming Sunday for South Sudanese residents to evacuate the town and return to their country of origin. According to Chief Okori, throughout 2024, South Sudanese nationals in Sudan faced increasing pressure, detentions, and localized ultimatums, such as a 15-day ultimatum in July 2024 to foreign nationals, including South Sudanese, to leave Khartoum state. He confirmed that in early this year, there were documented arrests and torture of 7 South Sudanese Christians by the Sudanese military intelligence. Okori says these incidents were related to religious persecution and accusations of support for armed factions. The chief spoke to iRadio from Shendi in an exclusive interview.
واحد من جهة المسؤول من الجنوبيين الموجودين في السودان، وأن إحنا حسب الشندي حصل لنا اتحادات كثيرة من الجهة المسؤول من الهجرة في الشندي، طلبونا إنه نحن نرسل أو نخلق الشندي في خلال 3 يوم من يوم الأحد الجاي. نحن وريناهم إنه نحن ما في شيء نحن عملنا في الشندي البيليك بحكومة أو بيليك بالأمن في البلد أو بسياسة البلد. نحن كمواطنين عايزين في شندي من قبل انفصال، ما مرقنا من شندي وخط اليوم، لكن طبعا وجاؤونا بأسئلة الماء يليق لنا وباستفزازات كثيرة، انتوا أجانب وانتوا وانتوا وانتوا. ونحن فعلا قلنا نحن ما نكرانين بينه نحن أجانب، نحن أجانب وعندنا دولة، لكن في حالة الحاسة نحن ما قادرين نطلع لأنه ليس لنا مطالبات، عندنا معاشات، عندنا بيوت، وعندنا عيالنا بيقرأ في مدارس.
Chief Federico Emilio told iRadio that all meetings with the Sudanese authorities to reconsider the move have failed.
ماشينا في اتمام الناس ورينا لهم قلنا له يا اخي نحن مستعدين نمشي زول بابا بلد ما ومطر كثير نحن ما بنقدر نمشي في مطر ده. قالوا لنا المهم خليكم جاهزين نحن نوصلكم المطر ما في نكاتيكم بمشامة نوصلكم. قلنا له لو صبرت لنا انا ذاتي قعدت في بلد قريب 50 سنه واستقرت في جيش قاموا 36 سنه انا ما قصرت فيها ولا عندي جريمه ولا عندي حاجه. انتوا صبر لو جاء انت مطر بدون ما انتوا ذات ترحلنا تفتالين الطريقه نحن بنشيل ناسنا ونمرق. قال نحن ما بنعرف المهم اننا جايكم. قالوا طيب ما شوف لنا موضوع معاش ده. قال لنا ما بنعرف تمشي توكر بيتك توكر حاجاتك تمشي هنا حكومه بتاعك يجي يشوف لك موضوع معاش. قلنا له موضوع معاش ده لازم تدينا شوف لنا نحن نمشي. انا استقرت لك 40 سنه 36 سنه اجيني قال لك لو بيجي كلام في بيتك برضه تدينا حاجه. ده كل الاصل والله زول المقدم ده والله سمعنا كلام فار نمان مرقنا قاعدين نبكي عليه.
Asked by iRadio during a press conference on Wednesday, Sudan's ambassador to South Sudan, Essam Karar, pledged to provide a comprehensive report on the status of South Sudanese nationals still residing in Sudan amid the ongoing conflict.
نحن الآن نعيدك إن شاء الله سيتم المخاطبة وتفيدنا بالمعلومات اللي عندك والناس الموجودين في شد ديل نحن عشان نتصل ونديك إجابة قاطعة بالإجراءات الماشية بخصوصه. أحرب المعلومة طوال نحن يكون عندنا رد فعل وبنسأل وبنجيب لك الإجابة المقنعة حتى إنك تكون يعني على مناعة بما نقول لنا. الحاجة اللي علينا عندنا إنه هنالك عودة طوعية لكن ليس إخراج بقوة وليس إدخال حراسة ولا كده.
A law firm has petitioned the Ministry of Justice over the poor maintenance of roads and drainage systems in Gudele, accusing the Ministry of Roads and Bridges, the Ministry of Environment and Forestry, and the Juba City Council of negligence. Rain Legal and Consultancy Firm stated that it has observed serious infrastructural issues in Gudele, Referendum, and Mio Saba residential areas. It attributes the flooding and poor road conditions to the lack of maintenance and inadequate drainage systems. According to the firm, many houses in these areas are now surrounded or submerged by water, making it difficult for students to attend schools. The poor road conditions and flooding have also limited access to essential services such as healthcare. Speaking to iRadio today, Councillor Mario Maker Majok of Rain Legal Consultancy Firm explained.
Well, I have been investigating this case of the people residing part of Gudele, Mia Usaba, Referendum, Eden. All these areas are being affected. Sometimes there are roads, but they are not rehabilitated. They are very poor. Water is stuck everywhere. Most of the houses are in the water. And as a result, students are being affected. Students are no longer attending classes in that area because roads are not good, especially when it rains. Look at the situation in that area. So the cost of transportation coming very high, and when it is very high, you find that the people or the residents there have no accessibility to other services like health care centers. The cause of action basically is negligence of constitutional mandate. Government institutions have to provide, and this violates the social contract between the government and the citizens.
Councillor Majok urged the Ministry of Justice to act or risk being taken to court. He warned that if the situation is not addressed, Rain Legal will file a lawsuit against the Ministries of Roads and Bridges, Environment, and the Juba City Council. He stressed that residents of Gudele deserve better, adding that both citizens and the business community pay taxes and expect basic services in return.
We expect the Ministry of Justice to call the institutions so that they see how they can resolve the issue. If they don't do that, if they don't resolve the issue, then it will be a court case. If it goes to the court and then the court finds that the people have suffered, then they have to be awarded whatever damage that is. Some of the damages, they are upon the court to decide, but some of the damages are clear. So frequent, there are so many accidents that have occurred in that area, because even if the government has no capacity to provide public services, there has to be transparency to the people that they are governing. the business community and the citizens. They are paying tax to the government. The institutions are the Ministry of Roads and Bridges, the Ministry of Environment, and Juba City Council.
In response, the Minister of Environment and Forestry issued a press release on August 27th, distancing itself from direct responsibility for infrastructure services. The ministry clarified that its mandate is limited to policy formulation, standard setting, and the oversight in accordance with the transitional constitution of South Sudan. It added that it is not a direct service provider for roads, healthcare facilities, or electricity. The governor of Northern Bahr el Ghazal State has indefinitely suspended the state minister of roads and bridges over allegations of corruption and gross indiscipline. Governor Simon Obir Maud issued the suspension order on August 25, 2025, relieving Carolina Achok Accord of her duties. According to the governor, the minister was suspended for repeated absenteeism from her official duties, failure to attend meetings of the Council of Ministers, and refusal to participate in the recently held Commissioners' Forum. The governor also accused Achok of seizing UNOP's equipment and materials handed over to the state following the completion of the Nyamlel Bridge in December 2024 and using them for personal purposes. Further allegations include the misappropriation of 60 million South Sudan pounds reportedly collected from leasing government land for the construction of a petrol station in the Sika Adit area. The governor also claims that Achok sold hundreds of liters of fuel donated by UNMIS for the rehabilitation of the Awil Airport runway. In his interim, the governor has appointed the Minister of General Education and Instruction as the acting Minister of Roads and Bridges until further notice. In her response, submitted as a formal petition to the governor, Carolina Achok denied all accusations, calling them baseless and false. She stated that her differences with the governor are not political or administrative, but rather a personal dispute. The governor of Upper Nile State says he is proud to stand behind Presidential Envoy for Special Programs, Adut Salva Kiir, as both an elder and a father, calling it a moment for the younger generation to lead. General James Kongchol made the remarks on state-owned broadcaster SSBC on Tuesday following a visit to Envoy Adut to congratulate her on her new assignment. Kong said he is ready to cooperate with her. He also mentioned that Envoy Adut is planning a visit to the state capital Malakal in the coming days, something he welcomed.
الشعب بتاعنا بتاع النيل on their behalf بالسلام عليه نجيب سلام بتاعنا برضه لو we wish her يعني good health والعمل اللي قدامها ونتعاون معه كان نحن ابناء في الولايه لانه ولايه بتاعنا طبعا ده ولايه فوقه مشاكل وولايه برضه قريب ده على الاستقرار ونحن بنهب الاستقرار ده رؤيه في جنوب السودان انه يكون في استقرار في البلد ويكون في استقرار في ولايه خاصه في آلني مرتاح جدا انه هيزور ملكال في ايام الغاليه لما نكون عمل بتاعه هي بقوم بالحكومه بتاعت الشباب لازم يجي فوق يعني لان ده بلد حراره وده زمن بتاعهم انه برضه نشتغل معهم كان احنا ناس كبار كان احنا ابواب بتاعهم.
In her response, Senior Presidential Envoy Adut told the governor that her office is committed to inclusive peace efforts and humanitarian services. She said Malakal will continue to play a central role in the rollout of the special programs. You are listening to iRadio Afternoon News. The National Legislative Assembly has summoned the Ministers of Public Service, Defense, Interior, and National Security, along with pension fund managers, to explain the current status of pension and challenges facing their implementation. This followed Wednesday's adoption of a motion calling on the government to address the deteriorating living conditions of veterans of the liberation struggle. The motion, moved by lawmaker Michael Tutrod, who complained about the suffering of war veterans and wounded heroes who fought for South Sudan's independence, as well as widows and orphans. According to him, these people suffer but have been left without pension or resettlement benefits. Tut says many veterans have died without receiving retirement packages despite their sacrifices during the long war of liberation. He described the neglect as saddening and urged the government to establish a veteran liberation struggle fund to provide financial support and ensure dignity for freedom fighters. The MP also called for reforms to pension for both civil servants and organized forces, urging amendments to the South Sudan Pension Act 2012 and the adoption of a comprehensive pension law in line with regional practices. According to him, the government should also allocate land to veterans in all states and administrative areas as part of the permanent settlement benefits for them and their families. After a deliberation, the House resolved to summon the Ministers of Public Service, Defense, Interior, and National Security, along with pension fund managers, to explain the current status of pension and challenges facing their implementation. The Speaker of Parliament, Jemanu Nukumba, endorsed the motion, saying the welfare of veterans remains a national priority that needs the presence of all the relevant institutions. And finally, the South Sudan Civil Aviation Authority says it has begun enforcing strict checks on all aircraft operation in the country. According to Bolring Gum, acting manager of air traffic management, the inspections cover maintenance records, pilot qualifications, and training history. He explained that although South Sudan does not register aircraft, it is responsible for verifying documentation from other countries before allowing flights to operate locally. Bolring said the enforcement aims to ensure safety, given that some operators have previously presented questionable records.
As we speak now, there is improvement on the runway light, because night operation also involve a light system, which is, I believe, by next month, our runway light renovation will be functioning 100%. And again, it is involved also the other to do with the alternate aerodrome. Like, for instance, if you have disabled an aircraft on the runway, for instance, you have Juba, which is supposed to be operating, and then we have some unexpected occurrences, like the aircraft was, we have no objection to operate at night, but also we must make sure that the security extended outside. Like, you are from Gudeli going to airport at night, we must make sure that you will be reaching at the airport safely.
He further revealed that renovation work on Juba International Airport's runway lightening is nearing completion. The upgrade is expected to make night operations fully functional by next month. The official also noted that plans are underway to improve alternative aerodromes and extend security around the airport to support safer night travel.
We are not a country who register aircraft. Ours is operating country, meaning that we are just to operate an aircraft, meaning that if there is any aircraft come to Juba today, what you should do, you just verify the document of that aircraft, and then also you try to check the maintenance record for that aircraft, because there is certain hours for an aircraft, it has to go for maintenance. But the funny thing is, you realize that there is too much forgery, and it is within South Sudanese. And in aviation is saying that you have a document of Kenyan Civil Aviation Authority coming to operate in South Sudan. Civil aviation, you don't have to object the document of other country. What you should do, you verify them. I think there is a enforcement which is being carried out now, that we must make sure that aircraft who are operating in South Sudan must be inspected by our engineers, and also the maintenance record, and also the pilot qualifications and the training record.
You're listening to iRadio News, and for the regional and international news, we are joined by my colleague Lasoba Memo.
Thanks, Baria Johnson. Making headlines on the global stage, North Korea's leader Kim Jong-un will attend a military parade in Beijing next week alongside Russia's Vladimir Putin, China has said in what will be a landmark visit. This is Kim's first multilateral international meeting, marking a diplomatic win for China's Xi Jinping, who has been pushing for a new Beijing-led world leader. It allows Xi to signal his influence, although limited, on both Putin and Kim at a time when Washington is attempting to make a deal with Moscow to end the war in Ukraine. Elsewhere, Sir Keir Starmer is replacing the top civil servants in his Downing Street office. Principal Private Secretary Nin Pandit runs the Prime Minister's team at number 10 and has only been in the role for 10 months. She is the third senior staff member the Prime Minister has appointed and later let go after Chief of His Staff Sue Gray left in October and Director of Communications Matthew Doyle stood down in March. Finally, a shooting at a school in Minneapolis that left 2 children dead and 17 others injured is being investigated as an anti-Catholic hate crime. The FBI says the 2 children aged 8 and 10 were killed when an attacker opened fire through the windows of the city's Annunciation Church on Wednesday morning as children were celebrating Mass. The attacker, who died at the scene of a self-inflicted gunshot wound, was later named by police as 23-year-old Robin Westman. That's all making headlines on the global stage. Back to you, Baria Johnson.
Thank you, Memo. Up next, sports news.
And in the world of sports, Manchester United suffered a humiliating Carabao Cup exit as they were beaten in a marathon penalty shootout by League Two Grimsby at Blundell Park. It had appeared United had rescued themselves in the nick of time after finding themselves 2 goals down following a truly awful first-half display, with returning goalkeeper Andre Onana had fouled for Gimbley's second. Charles Verment and Tyrell Warren got the Mariners goals before United substitute Brian Buemo pulled one back and Harry Maguire equalized in the final minute. But Mateus Cunha failed to secure victory in United's last spot kick of the regulation 5, and Buemo's second penalty hit the bar to hand Grimsby a 12-11 shootout success and trigger a pitch invasion from the jubilant home fans. Australia's Olympic silver medalist Nicola Olsklagers claimed the Diamond League trophy with a best leap of 2.04 meters to defeat Olympic and world champion Yaroslava Muchinki. Morgan Lake made history by becoming the first British woman to clear 2 meters in the high jump as she finished third at the Diamond League final in Zurich. Lake soared over the mark at the first attempt to become the 86th woman in history to achieve a landmark height. The 28-year-old, whose previous personal best of 1.99 meters was set in February 2023, was visibly emotional after surpassing the significant 2-meter barrier with just over a fortnight until the start of the World Athletics Championships in Tokyo. Finally, an anonymous bidder paid a record $12.9 million at an auction for a basketball card signed by Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant, making it the most expensive sports collectible card in history. The card is known as 2007-2008 Upper Deck Exquisite Collection Dual Longomand Autographs Jordan and Bryant card and was sold by Heritage Auctions in the United States. It had been in the hands of its previous owner for more than a decade and went into auction with a valuation expecting it to achieve a 4.4 million sterling pound or above. In total, 82 bids were then received as the estimate was more than double. That's all in the world of sports.
This is iRadio News, and to end this bulletin, here's a recap of the main headlines. Two South Sudanese chiefs in Shendi, Sudan have said that local authorities have issued a 3-day ultimatum for all South Sudanese residents to evacuate the town and return to South Sudan. A claimed Sudanese diplomat in Juba says he is yet to get a definite answer. A law firm has petitioned the Ministry of Justice over the poor maintenance of roads and drainage systems in Gudele, accusing the Ministry of Roads and Bridges, the Ministry of Environment and Forestry, and the Juba City Council of negligence. And the governor of Northern Bahal Ghazali State has indefinitely suspended the State Minister of Roads and Bridges over allegations of corruption and gross indiscipline. That's the end of iRadio Afternoon News. If there is a story or an event you would like iRadio to cover or report about, please send us a text message on +211 925 287870. It's also our WhatsApp number. Follow us on X at iRadio Juba, like our Facebook page, iRadio, subscribe to our YouTube channel at iRadio South Sudan. You can also visit our website and listen to us online at www.iradio.org. Stay tuned for the news in Arabic at 1:30. I am Baria Johnson. Thank you for listening.